Recently, we went on a little trip, and it was good. We saw the sights, saw some motor racing, ate strange foods in even stranger places. We travelled a lot, both in town and countryside, and our hire car was a Peugeot 308. Bear with me here, this is gonna sound strange, but the 308 got me thinking. Because it's a good car. It's got space, it's got a contemporary and useful interior with added quirky bits, and it looks pretty damn good. In fact, Peugeot seems to have really hit its stride in the last 5 years, going from dull but worthy to genuinely stylish.
And do you know what? It even handles very nicely. So this is a car that looks good, handles well, has plenty of space, does all the things it should, and yet it lacks that extra something. So what exactly makes a good car great?
So this requires some investigation. If you've got all the right ingredients, why do some cars give you that warm fuzzy feeling and some just feel like the motoring equivalent of beige?
But that's the thing about Peugeots. Now the company has done a bang-up job of making cars that work and look absolutely fantastic, but they lack that little extra something that makes them truly special. Which kind of begs the question, what makes a good car a great one? Which is why I find myself with a completely standard Peugeot 308 here in Japan. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Japan is brilliant. It's a place of culture and culture clash, urban and literal jungle, and it's the home of some of the most hardcore car fanatics in the world. If there's a niche interest in the world of cars, you will find it in Japan. Except, it seems, for Peugeots.
We actually came here to talk about Peugeot's new 9X8 racing car, which is pretty damn cool. It's got loads of Peugeot design cues, looks like it was designed by Peugeot, even has a V6 engine, albeit one with 671 brake horsepower and a turbo. Talking to the bosses of the racing programme, I wondered whether motorsport actually helped sell normal cars. And the response was surprising. They thought it conferred passion and technical expertise. You might not sell any road-going 9X8s, but cool stuff chills the brand by association. Peugeot knows that. That's why there's a 205 T16 in the promo video.
So this year's been kind of an installation, a little testing year, and then next year you're going to hit it hard. And you've got a car that looks very different to other Le Mans hypercars. Why have you made it without big wings? Why doesn't it not look like an LMP1?
The way we have worked is we were in a frame to fulfill the regulation, no compromise on performance, but with a lot of room of creativity for the design. So hence we have this car, and when you watch this car on the track, the car is very easily recognizable, and you have already all the Peugeot design code with the lighting with the lion claw, and also a new design code that you will see soon on our Road Eagle Peugeot.
But what would really lift a car like this 308? Is it like a big turbo engine, extreme handling, even more styling? What is the key ingredient that provokes passion? Peugeot, don't forget, knows how to do this. Think about it. It's like 205 GTIs, 106 rallies, even T16s, 306 GTI 6s. They had cars that made people excited. There were cars that were actually quite cheap 10 years ago, and they're certainly not that way now. So we decided to have a little look around Japan to see if we could find out what that extra spice is that turns a handsome and capable car into a properly special one that might actually be desired in 10 years' time. What is that special sauce? And can we find anyone with a cool old Peugeot in Tokyo in the one day we have to spare?
With electric cars coming, electric skateboards and modular architectures becoming the norm, surely there's room for a bit of last blast brilliance. So, as day turned to night and the jet lag tried to turn our minds into cotton wool, we came up with a plan.
Tonight, we're going to start with somewhere really obvious. The Daikoku parking area out near Yokohama. Now, Daikoku, PA has become something of a mecca for anything to do with bikes and cars, and it's been that way for years. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop out there right now and see if anything interesting is happening. See if we can find any Peugeots.
And in fact, there was a lot of pretty much everything. I mean, look at this place, from Lancias to Mustangs, Porsches to Rollvelts, RX-8s to GTRs, VIP to stretch and poke, everything from concourse to battle-scarred. Even on a fairly slow Tuesday night, there was plenty to see. But even the melting pot that is Daikoku couldn't give us a cool Peugeot.
This is how eclectic Daikoku is. Lancia, Delta Integrale. The white Mamba. This has got a lot of plastic on it. But there's something very special about it too. To punish and enslave. Strange little vans. No Peugeots. Original Mini. No Peugeots.
So after a long night, we had to keep searching, and we had to have some sleep.
So yesterday, I significantly failed to find any Peugeots at all. But last night, I absolutely scoured the internet, so we're going to go off and see if we can find some cool old Peugeot fans in Japan. I just hope they do it quickly, because it's nearly 40 degrees and the humidity is absolutely killing me.
Luckily, armed with some internet-based wild goose chasing, we had a tip-off about a man who might like his French cars.
Hang on. 106 rally. 206. We might have something here, boys.
I spy old Peugeots. Obviously, classic 405, but over there I can see a yellow 106 GTI, and next to it is a 306 convertible, so definitely some classic sort of urban hero Peugeots. Yeah, over here, 206 GTI, I think that's a 206 RC. But where's the office? Hang on, I'm going to go and see if I can find the manager.
What we'd had the tip-off about was a small garage in Yokohama called AZ Auto, run by the absolutely brilliant Takahiko Kodama, one of the most patient garage owners in the world, and owner of several Peugeots, not least a 205 GTI. There was just one problem. With my conversational Japanese being absolutely non-existent, and Kodama-san's English being excellent but limited, we had to rely on technology. And some of the things we wanted to talk about were complicated, and we had limited signal. This led to problems, and I started to overheat.
You enjoy French cars, and we were wondering why French cars appeal to you.
まあでもまあその伝統的に足回りとかシートとかその辺は
Yeah.
まあ継続してずっとプジョーの良さはまあフランスのパリの石畳の道路とかああいうとこでやっぱ
I see. The traditional house and the suspension and other areas continue to be good, and Peugeot's goodness is very Parisian. That's very cool. He actually just likes the Frenchness of the car. So it's kind of all of it together, which I quite get. So a French car, it's inherently French. That's what appeals to these people that are collecting these old things. I am so hot, I think I'm going to melt, and he's not even bothered. This is really interesting. It's about being French, not necessarily about one specific thing. That's really interesting.
Okay, so what do you need to make a cool car? Well, there are still specials, sure, but they feel like collectability by marketing in low volume rather than decided by the buyers. True blue-collar heroes have something that's more than just the sum of their parts. They're usually made by people who care about the driving experience and not just the transport, about the journey and not just the destination. They're made by people who realise that attraction isn't about perfection, it's about passion. And that cars that stand the test of time tend to have a sense of humour. They have that X factor that makes them cool.
So I seem to have been all over Tokyo in the past 36 hours trying to figure out what makes a good car great and how Peugeot would take something like a 308 and make a car that people would want to collect in, say, 20 years' time. I've done a lot of sweating over my dodgy translation app and lamenting my lack of conversational Japanese. But one thing Kamada-san said in the last garage that I visited was that the thing he liked about French cars was their Frenchness, and he kept talking about confidence. Now I thought it was a bit of a dodgy translation, but what it turns out he was talking about was actually character. And you can talk about handling and engines and styling, but to make a really good car great, what you actually have to do is just imbue it with character, something that people can fall in love with. And that's why, to make a 308 a great car, all Peugeot has to do is be more Peugeot.